Have you ever thought that you were maybe bad at money? Maybe choosing an investment for your workplace 401k plan makes you feel overwhelmed. Or maybe you have some financial decisions to make and you kind of keep putting them off. Or maybe you have some credit card debt and you've made some mistakes along the way. And now you're feeling some sort of shame about it. Whatever it is, welcome to the channel. This channel is specifically for people who are just getting started or feeling overwhelmed or who have made some mistakes. It's really for people who don't want to have to think about money all the time. And the good news is that you don't have to become a giant finance nerd or to think about it all the time for you to get your financial house in order. There are some simple changes you can make to put you on the path to success. You can do it automatically. And that's why I'm here. This channel will have a series of videos about the things that I wish I had learned before, my mid-30s. I could have saved myself a lot of mistakes. I've been through a lot of this, and I think I can distill it down to just the most useful parts for you. Finance can be very complicated, as you know, but in my experience, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need perfect optimization. You can get about 90% of the way there with 5% of the effort. You just need to know where to start. And a few small tweaks to your financial situation can really make a big difference. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to help. And the most important part of this channel is that it's going to be a two-way street. When I say I'm here to help, I mean that. If at any point you don't understand something in a video, or if you have questions that I'm not addressing, please send me an email. My email address will be listed on all the video descriptions and the channel description. I might not respond to every email, but I will try to make videos that address your questions. We're all here learning together. So if you have a question, I'm guessing somebody else is probably thinking the same thing too. And this is a safe space. There are no questions that are too small. There's no such thing as a stupid question. If it's going to be helpful to you, please ask. You're probably wondering who you're sending these questions to. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jameson. Until recently, I worked at Charles Schwab, providing customer service for people with managed portfolios. I had a couple of licenses I held there. I had a Series 7, which made me a licensed stockbroker, meaning that I could buy and sell stocks for people. And then I got my Series 66, which made me a investment advisor representative, meaning that I could give investment advice. Though I do want to take this opportunity to give a disclaimer here that everything on this channel is not investment advice or tax advice or legal advice. And it's just because I don't know anything about your particular situation. I'm just giving my opinions for educational purposes to the internet. So please fact check everything I say and make sure it applies to your situation, your risk tolerance, all of that before you take any actions. Anyway, I worked at Schwab and TD Ameritrade before that for about 5 years. But recently I quit to go back to school. I'm working on a degree in financial planning. So while I go through that, I'm going to have lots of new information to share with you along the way as well. But I haven't always been a finance nerd. In fact, I grew up without much financial knowledge at all, which is why I've made a lot of my own mistakes. I grew up as a starving artist. I thought that was just normal. When I was young, I played bass in hardcore bands. Then I went to school for music for a while. That's where I met my wife. And then we started a photography business, which she still runs. I only got the job in finance because the pandemic hit in 2020 and we couldn't do photo shoots for a while. So I grew up as an artist, but along the way, I had some conversations with friends who kind of talked about some financial concepts that I had never heard of before. So I got the idea in my head that I should probably learn a little bit about this money stuff and get better at it. So I started picking up some books and some audiobooks. I remember the very first personal finance book I ever read and how it kind of changed my whole perspective. It was a book called The Book on Rental Property Investing by Brandon Turner. And I remember turning on the audiobook on a plane right as it was about to take off. And the opening chapter, he started describing financial independence and how he buys rental properties so that he doesn't have to work 40 hours a week so that he can be there for every important moment with his kids. And it was just a totally new way to think about money that I'd never heard before. So I kept getting these books and audiobooks, started learning everything I could on the subject, which is what led me to getting that job doing customer service for people at Schwab. When I worked at Schwab, I talked to a lot of people. Some of them needed to talk, about their fears about what the market was doing, or they wanted to have in-depth conversations about how their portfolio was constructed, why they hold specific investments, things like that. But I noticed that a lot of people just needed their hands held a little bit while they did simple things like opening up a new account or placing their first trade. So that is part of what I'm here to provide for you. We'll have videos, walking step by step through opening up accounts or placing your first trades so that you can follow along anytime you need a reminder about how to do it. But we'll also have those more in-depth conversations about why we're doing any of this in the first place, how to choose investments, and how to make sure you're on track to build the kind of life that you want to build. But I just want to be clear that no matter where you are now, it's going to be okay. It can get better. When we talk about financial mistakes, know that I've been there too. I've been in credit card debt. I've owed money to the IRS. So I too have felt that weight and worry and shame. It's easy to beat up on yourself and feel like a bad person, but just know that it's normal to make some mistakes along the way, especially if you've never been taught this stuff before. So be kind to yourself. And this channel is here to, help take some steps to make it better. If that sounds helpful to you, please subscribe, leave a comment, and send me an email. I'd love to hear from you.